What's up, YouTube? What's up, y'all? Let me get this out of my mouth. Be proper. What's going on, y'all? This is your boy, Trucker Richie Rich. Coming to you outside of Memphis, Tennessee, man. I had some things on my mind. I guess I want to address them today. I was just here thinking. Actually, I'm responding to a comment one of my subscribers left me. And I think you new guys and you guys in the industry can probably agree with me, and you new guys need to know. There's a couple of things. One, protect your CDL at all costs, okay? That is the most valuable thing in your life that you get. It's a hard thing to get, easy thing to lose. Trust me when I say this. There's a reason why I'm stopped out here in outside of Memphis. They closed Interstate 40 down. There was a tornado that hit Lake Charles, and that tornado was pretty strong, and it got up here to Little Rock, Arkansas, where I'm going. And they actually closed Interstate 40 down. But for you guys who don't know, Interstate 40 is very prone to tornadoes. A few years ago, they had a E5 tornado literally walk across the highway. Okay, a lot of guys lost their lives. People were hurt. Okay, that's very dangerous. Very peaceful when it's not doing anything, but very dangerous when it is stormy. But I gotta tell you guys a story. This is a two-part story. First thing is protect your CDL at all costs. Trust me. It's your livelihood. You got to protect that. Second is lumper fees. And are they like the mafiosos of the industry? Okay. I'm going to get into that a little bit. And the reason I'm going to get into it because I had a subscriber ask me, says, Rich, I want to drive over the road, but I don't want to unload the truck. You don't unload your freight. That answer would be no, absolutely not. I'm not going to drive 2,000 miles on a load, for 10 hours a day, then finally get to the place and then have to unload 40 tons of product and restack it inside the warehouse. Me personally, I always thought lumper fees were kind of like shakedown, but when I explain it to you, you might agree with me too. Okay, I still feel funny about it, but anyway, today I woke up about 1 o'clock. I drove all night. I stopped about 2 o'clock in the morning on my way to Little Rock, Arkansas, and I looked at the storm last night down on Lake Charles, and that thing was looking really crazy. So when I woke up today at 1 o'clock, I looked at it, and it was sitting there right over Little Rock. So I called my fleet manager, right? And I'm like, listen, there's like a tornado over Little Rock, and I'm going right there. I said, I don't think it's safe for me to drive. And he gonna say, what tornado? What hurricane? What are you talking about? As if it ain't been on the national news for last week. Listen, folk. Drive when it's safe to drive. Park when it's safe to park, okay? Don't be one of those guys driving down there. Because right now, if you guys would have pulled the map up at this time of night, Interstate 40 westbound is closed because it might be underwater, okay? Not to mention, I'm going in the back roads of Little Rock, Arkansas, so those roads are more likely washed out. And tomorrow, I'm probably not going to leave until 1 o'clock tomorrow, to be honest with you, because I'm going to give some time for those waters to recede. Okay? The Mississippi floods all the time, regularly when it rains. It's normal. The Mississippi and the Nile River do the same thing. They flood inland so many miles, so many feet, and they recede. So with all the rain and storm, I'm sure that it's flooded down there. So I won't be going. But you gotta protect your CDL, guys, because if I would have drove down there and I were to get into an accident, that would be on me. And the company I work for, or any employer in the future I work for, would have questioned me, why did I even make that kind of decision? See, unfortunately, guys, it's easy to get our CDL. I mean, it's kind of hard to get our CDL because you gotta go to school for it and you have to be a lot of training, but it's extremely easy to lose. See, you guys can understand your first year of trucking, if you're a first year driver, if you get into a major accident, your first year, they actually rescind your CDL. They rescind it. It means they'll make you do the whole process all over again after a significant time has passed. I had a student one time, he went and drove flatbed. He made a turn off the ramp, his truck went right, and his load went left. Because he didn't secure the load properly, because he wasn't properly taught how to secure loads. And he lost the CDL for about 3 years, okay? on top of all kind of fines and all kind of costs. So, CDL is very, very easy to lose out here, and you got to protect it. So, I've been doing this thing for 8 years, and I don't want to go back to what I used to do. Going backwards to what I used to do didn't make a lot of money, or wasn't a good living. But driving a truck, for me, at this point in my life, it really is. So that's enough of that. But next thing I want to talk about, I had a subscriber ask me. He was like, yo, Rich, do I gotta load the truck when I get there? Now here's the catch-22, people. Okay, sometimes your company will say, hey, listen, you want to earn extra money? Go ahead and unload the truck. We'll pay you $20-30. Listen, don't fall for that hook. I did it one time inadvertently, and I'll never do it again, ever. Okay. One time I picked up a load from Galveston, Texas, at the ports. It was a load of lettuce. Took it to Winter Haven, Florida, to a Walmart. Walmart came out, looked at the trailer, called me on the phone and said, sir, we're rejecting your whole load. At that point, I started to panic. I thought maybe I set the refrigerator unit in the back of the truck. I thought I might have the temperature wrong or something I did. And the Walmart guy explained to me, he said, no, we just saw a couple of your heads of lettuce were brown, so we decided to go ahead and reject the whole load. And see, a lot of times what happens is you go pick up this produce from these shippers, and they put bad product on there because they can't let it sit in the warehouse, and they try their hand. So what happened was Stevens, I called OS&D, which stands for overages, shortages, and disposables. Basically, it's the department in the trucking company that deals with claims on freight. So, basically what they told me to do was like, look, Rich, don't worry. Take it to this homeless shelter in Winter Haven, and we're going to have them unload it. Now, they're going to hand you a piece of paper and ask you how much you think the load is worth. Now, here's the hustle. Don't put a number on there. Fax it to us immediately. And I explained why they did that, and I'm sure I know why. Stevens is a little hustlers. But anyway, when I got to the homeless shelter in Winter Haven, I backed up to the shelter doors, and the lady was like, "Okay, sir, you go ahead and load it." I was like, "What?" It took me 3 to 4 hours by hand to unload a whole truck full of lettuce into this food bank at this homeless shelter. And it was in the middle of the day on a hot, muggy Florida day. Now, you guys who've never been to Florida, imagine a sauna, on high noon, wherever you live. It literally felt like I was in a wet paper bag. And man, I probably lost 10 pounds that day, which was good exercise, but I'll never do it again. I'd be glad to pay the lumper fee. Now, the thing about the lumper fees that get me, and I think it's a little shakedown right when I say this, but you're a customer and you order product, I deliver it to you, and then you charge me some substantial amounts of money to unload that product. For you to unload the product that you just ordered from me. It seems kind of funny to me, And I'll give you a case in point. I go up to a warehouse to pick up, let's say, a truckload of beef, and I carry it to Target. Okay. When I get to Target, Target's like, okay, we ordered this beef, and we want to charge you, the driver, $300 to $400 just to unload the product of beef that we need for our store. That never made sense to me, And see, some of these lumber fees are outrageous. What I mean? The most I ever paid for somebody to unload a truck was about $800. Now, I know you guys are saying, whoa, is that $800 out of your pocket? Well, technically it is. And I'll explain to you why. Many years ago, the industry used to just give you the money to use for lumpers to unload your freight. They never questioned you. They just write you a blank check. But they got hip to the game, especially at Stevens. There was this guy who spoiled it. And it was eventually they would have changed it anyway. But What he was doing was everywhere he went, he was writing lumper fees. He was requesting $300 to $400 every time he went somewhere. And he got caught because he went to a place that other trucks I went to that they did not have to pay fees for. And then when they questioned him, the company, the customer, about charging the fees, the customer was like, we never charge these fees. So what the industry does now, and what they did to him, I think they fired him and charged him criminally, if I'm not mistaken. But what the industry does now is that when I request money to have somebody else unload my product and freight, they actually hold it to my paycheck. I had a bad experience with that my rookie year. Let me tell you the hustle that happened to me in Los Angeles. So I pick up a load out of Amarillo, Texas, and carry it to Los Angeles downtown. Now, you guys who ever been downtown Los Angeles, it is a trucking haven down there. I mean, you'll be surprised. All kind of warehouses, all kind of people who get freight and all that kind of stuff. So I pull onto the street, and the Spanish guy runs up to the truck. And he jumps on my window. He's like, "Hey, we've been waiting for you to come here. Here, you need to back into that door and go inside and tell them that you already got a lumper. I'm going to do it for you, and let's hurry and get it done." So he made it seem like he worked there. When I backed into the door and I walked inside the warehouse, the shipper receiving clerk was like, "Hey, do you have a lumper? Does you want to lump your stuff?" I said, "Oh yeah, I got a guy outside right now." "Oh yeah, okay." So I backed the door open, and he did the job. He unloaded all the freight. And I wasn't going to do it. I mean, I wasn't touching it. It was 40 tons of beef. He unloaded it. And see, when these guys unload the truck, they just don't unload it. They unload it and they break the boxes down. I mean, this is a very grueling work. But he did the job. So when he come to me, he's like, "Sir, I need a $500 ComData check or T-check." So I sent a message to Stevens requesting a $500 com check. So Stevens sent me back an express code to give this guy. So I gave him the express code, and he gives me a flimsy piece of receipt. Literally something written off a torn envelope. And I looked at it, I was like, "Man, bro, you don't have anything more professional than this?" "Oh, that's all I got, sir. Thank you. Bye." And he ran off. So later on that week, I transflow, which I sent my paperwork into Stevens so that I can get paid and get that $500 reimbursed back to me. A few days later, I get a call from payroll. "Rich, what is this?" "It's the lumper receipt for this job." "Rich, this is not acceptable." He's like, "We might have to charge you for this." So meaning that load I ran, I wasn't getting paid for, and I just gave somebody free $500. So I had to literally go up the chain to the supervisor and like, "Listen, man, I can't afford to take that $500 hit." So I'm gonna tell you what Stevens did. They were like, "Listen, we're gonna let you go this time, but Richard, from now on, make sure you get a receipt that has either his EIN number on there, which is the business number, his phone number, his driver license number, his identification and address. Okay? If not, we're going to charge you these because we had a problem." And then he went to explain to me about the guy I just told you earlier who kept continuing to request lumper fees and who wasn't really getting lumper services. It turned out the guy had a gambling problem. So, personally, I think lumpers are hustlers, but I'm not touching the freight. Honestly, God, I'm not going to drive through heaven to hell and get it there and then have to unload it. Now, if you work a local job, I can understand you doing that. You know what I mean? Or you don't drive more than 30 miles, a 30-mile radius, then yeah, unload the freight. But if you're driving across country, man, that's a headache. That's a headache and a half. So I guess it's a necessary evil in the industry. I just think it's a shakedown method, to be honest with you. I mean, when I looked at my year-end statement, because I'm a lease operator and I can see how many lumper fees I wrote, man, I had to write something like $20,000 or something. I mean, to these people, various places, So, anyway, just to answer that guy's question, man. I hope you guys are being safe. There's a hurricane out here, and there's multiple tornadoes down here in Tennessee and Mississippi, Alabama, and Arkansas. So be safe. Till next time, peace.